if he can get in the rotation at wideout.
You mentioned a media day that 2 weeks into every fall camp, there's always a guy that people aren't thinking about that kind of surprises and steps out. Has there been that guy after 2 weeks here, and who would he be?
There's been a couple, and I'll reserve judgment until Thursday because that'll be our next real big test, and then after that, that can kind of confirm it because there's been days where kids have flashed and you're like, wow, and then the next day they kind of disappear. But to me, it's who's been consistently on top of their game, and so there's been a couple guys that we've been really surprised with, and more than a couple guys, and so hopefully they can continue it. And really, when you get to 2 weeks in, it kind of separates it because the newness is worn off. When it's really a Groundhog Day type mentality because it's the same thing over and over and over again. But can you, instead of trying to survive it, or can you prevail over it? And that's what we're trying to get out of our guys. And I think for the most part, they're doing that. So.
Coach, did you give Josh Cadu some work at defensive end today?
Josh has got a ton of work all over. We got nickel packages where those guys go around. Sometimes they rush, sometimes they drop it. That's been part of our package for the last 3 years. So, when we do some things and bring in a couple extra DBs, some of those linebackers drop down to play defensive line. So, we may only have 2 D linemen per se in the game, but when you got versatile guys like Josh and Paseko, Dion Jordan, those type of guys, it's something that Nick's always had in his package. So.
From week 1 to week 3, what's your progress report? From how the team started in week 1 to where you are now?
I think they've been consistent, and that's the one thing that I like about this group. It's not like we started off not very good and then we started to build, or it's not like we came out with gangbusters because it was new and then kind of tailed off. I think they've really been consistent in their approach, which is what we were looking for as a coaching staff. So.
I think I know the answer to this, but did you keep track of the Jordan Jefferson situation? Have you even looked at that, heard about that?
We've seen it, but I don't. It really has no effect on us. So. We're trying to finish this week before we even start to talk about LSU. So.
What's the situation on tight end with White being out?
Excuse me?
The situation on tight end with White being out, is there a concern there?
There's nothing I can do about it. I can go in and stay at a Holiday Inn Express and see if I can figure it out. But, we'll just go with what we got. So, we'll figure that out. And there's no reason for us to talk about it because we don't have a game till the following Saturday. So we can say, okay, we got David, and then this guy's got to be the guy, and then he gets hurt in practice tomorrow, and then we got to reassess it. So, again, we haven't done anything. We're getting everybody a million reps. We did bring Nick Musgrove over as a safety, just because we didn't have enough numbers there. We'll just keep repping those guys, and then we'll try to get a little bit more solid in terms of what our rotation will be after Thursdays. So that's kind of where we are with it right now.
You talked about being faster this year than you have in the past. Are you getting to that point that you're going to be faster this year?
We're trying to. I think some of our players just have it's more of a general knowledge of our communication system. So that's still always a work in progress, but that's always a goal of ours.
Getting a better look at the depth chart now, as you've looked at a lot of film, is it kind of coming together?
Well, we haven't really talked about it. I'm sure it's kind of fallen into place, but really the big day for us will be after Thursday. We make a final assessment and then get ready, because after Thursday then we start our preparation for LSU, and then we need to kind of have a rotation in place at that point in time. So, but there are some spots that are, kind of crystallized. There's some other spots where you're just like, wow, that's going to be an interesting battle these last couple of days. So we'll see how that shakes itself out.